All right, now that we've seen an introduction to the empirical rule, let's look at an example at how to use it. So in this example, it states that the age of NFL players that retire follows a bell-shaped distribution with a mean of 33 years and a standard deviation of 2 years. So the important thing here is that we have a bell-shaped distribution. The mean is 33 years and the standard deviation is 2 years. So bell-shaped distribution is important because if it's not bell-shaped, then we can't use the empirical rule. And then we need the mean and the standard deviation in order to fill out the empirical rule chart. So I already have a chart put here for us to work with. So the first thing I'm going to do is in the middle, I'm going to label the mean. So the mean is 33. Then I'm going to work to the left of the mean first, and then I'll come back and do everything that's to the right. So working to the left, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the mean and I'm going to subtract this standard deviation. And that's going to tell me the age of players that are retiring and are one standard deviation below the mean. So if an NFL player retires at 31 years old, they have retired one standard deviation below the mean retirement age. Now for the next line, I am going to take the previous age and subtract the mean. So 2 standard deviations below the mean is 29 years old. And then I'm going to do that one more time. 29 was the previous age, and I'm going to subtract 2, and that gives me 27 years old. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the table, but in reverse. And I'm going to add. So 33 plus 2 is 35. Then I'm going to do the previous age, 35 plus 2, 37. And finally, 37 plus 2 is 39. I've gone through and I have filled in the values that are specific to this problem with the mean and the standard deviation. So now what I need to do is I need to fill in all of the percentages for the empirical rule so that I can answer the questions that are below. So the first thing is the overall 68%, 95%, and 99.7%. So 68% is the percent of data that goes from one standard deviation below to one standard deviation above. 95% of the data is from 2 standard deviations below to 2 standard deviations above. And then finally, 99.7% of our data is from 3 to 3. 3 below to 3 above. And then we have all of those inside percentages. So starting at the middle, working my way to the left, this section is 34% of the data. This one is 13.5% of the data. 2.35% of the data. And then this outer section here is 0.15%. And then a bell-shaped distribution is symmetric. So the other side is the same, but a mirror image. And I do not expect you to have these memorized like I do already. So that is the completed empirical rule chart for this scenario. I have all of the ages at the bottom, and I have all of the percentages for the chart filled in. So now I want to go ahead and look at the questions that need to be answered regarding this scenario. So the first question says, what percent of NFL players retire? Oh, nope, sorry, 95% of NFL players retire between what two ages? So 95% is this middle guy, and it extends from 2 below to 2 above. So if I follow those lines, I can see that 95% of players retire between the ages of 29 to 37 years old. So 95% of NFL players retire between 29 and 37 years of age. What percentage of NFL players retire between 27 and 39 years old? So here is my 27, and here is my 39. So looking at these, I can see that these are both on my 3 standard deviations away from the mean. I can also see that they're the same color because I've color coded this, so that also helps me see that they're on the same line, which means I can follow this line that I've drawn up to find the overarching percentage that the players are retiring at. So for this one, it's 99.7%. So 99.7% of players are retiring between the ages of 27 and 39 years old. Okay, now these two are going to be a little bit different. So this one, what percent of NFL players retire before age 35? So before age 35. So if I start on the line for 35, I want to know what percent retire before they hit 35. So that means I want to look at all of the percentages for the ages below that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right here, and I'm going to add up the percentages going up to that line. So that's this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then when I hit the line for 35 years old, that's where I stop. So 0.15 plus 2.35 plus 13.5 plus 34 plus 34. So if I add all of that together, I should get 84%. So 84% of NFL players will retire before the age of 35. And then we have one more. I'm going to switch colors for this one actually. What percent of NFL players retire after age 29? So this is 29. So I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to start on this line and I'm going to go after age 29. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go to the right, and I'm going to add up all of the percentages to the right. So 13.5 plus 34 plus 34 plus 13.5 plus 2.35 plus 0.15. Add all of those together, and I get 97.5%. So 97.5% of the NFL players are retiring after the age of 29. So that's one example that shows how we can create the distribution and then also how we can use it to answer questions related to it.